Man, oh man, some tough news today, guys. As a lot of you guys probably already know, I found out today that Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, had passed away. And this is one of those celebrity deaths. People have different connections with celebrities and athletes and stuff, and how it affects them if they pass away or something happens to them. And they never really affect me or anything, just because, we're all people and we're all destined for the same future. But there have been two so far that really just like hit me. And the first one was Kobe Bryant. Like when he passed away, I'm 37 years old. So when I played basketball, I grew up through the Kobe Bryant heyday. He was my hero, looking forward to, who I wanted to emulate in basketball, because Michael Jordan was a little bit at the end of his career when I started really getting into it. I love MJ, but just Kobe Bean Bryant was the guy. And I just wanted to emulate him like so many other people my age. It was just, when his death was announced, couldn't believe it, especially in the fashion that it happened. It really hit me hard. And then this one today with a Jason David Frank, just because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers meant so much to me when I was younger. It came out at that age when I was 8 years old, just an 8-year-old boy. And I'll never forget just the first time watching it and seeing these teenagers who had this ability to transform into these karate ninja superheroes, who also had these large robots they could get into fight like Transformers. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. And it blew my mind. And as a kid, just my imagination was just, wow, this is incredible. And I fell in love with it, like so many people of that generation. We loved Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Boy or girl, you loved it. And of course, when the Green Ranger made his appearance, that was just peak right there. We all flocked to JDF. He was our favorite. The Green Ranger was the guy everyone wanted to play as. If you were outside with your friends playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, everyone wanted to be the Green Ranger. Then it would be the Red, and so on and so forth. So he meant a lot to me, and I actually followed a lot of his post-career through all the social media and stuff. I'm pretty much liked and follow him on everything, and I don't do that with a lot of people, but JDF was one of them. And I love seeing a lot of his inspirational videos he would put out to help uplift other people when they were feeling down. So seeing how one website is reporting the news of his death it's just really disheartening to see that, if that is true, that even though he was there to lift us up so many times when we were down, just unfortunately there was no one there to lift him up when he was feeling down. And that's what really hurts, because he was a guy who you could tell if you followed him that he cared so much about his fans. Like, he pretty much made his living these days of going around to conventions, just being with the fans and them just pouring out their love to him and just telling them like, hey, man, you meant so much to me. And you could tell it really affected him, people's feelings toward him. Like, he was so appreciative. He would make it to every con he would sign up for and try to be there. Only drastic things would ever keep him from going there. And some could say, oh, he was just doing it because that's how he's making money. Well, he's also still collecting stuff from Power Rangers and doing independent films and everything. So I'm sure he's fine money-wise. I think he truly enjoyed being with his fans, and just wanting to thank them for the support through all these years. But man, Power Rangers, like I said, was just the go-to. I'll never remember the great memories and the not so great memories, because like I said, I grew up, if you follow my channel, I grew up very poor. And at that time, my mom was a bus driver when the show came out. And I'll never forget, because the show would come out and it would come on 4:30s on the East Coast where I used to live. Well, of course, my mom driving this bus route, there was always just this one kid, this one person, high schooler, who would get on the bus. And if he got on the bus, I knew that I was not going to be able to make it home in time to watch Power Rangers. Because if we had to drop him off at his house, that means my mom had to drive further down the road to drop him off. And I want to say this was like the after-school activity. So this is someone who went to football practice and athletes, because she would drive all these routes in the evening, and we had to ride with her the whole time because we couldn't go home and be alone. So anyways, if he got on, we would have to drive too far out to drop him off, and I'd never make it back home in time to watch Power Rangers. I'd always be there right at the end. It'd be like 4:50. I could watch the last 10 minutes if I want, where you're at least getting to see the Megazord and stuff, but I would miss everything up to that point. So I would always just hope and pray that every time we would have to do the bus route, that he was not going to be on the bus that day. Sometimes it wouldn't be, and sometimes it would be. But when football season would finally be done, like, oh, we could forget about having to drop him off anymore. But yeah, every weekday the show would come on, which was something that was incredible for new episodes back in the day for something. And then I think eventually it did go to every Saturday you'd get a new episode coming out with some reruns throughout the week. And like slowly but surely as a kid, even though I got to miss episodes, I'd eventually get to piece them all together over time from finally being able to watch the episodes. And man, I just loved it so much. And then I'll never forget when the movie came out, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. It was one of the few movies I've got to see in theaters when I was young. The first one being Batman Returns. I know I saw Aladdin when it came out, and GoldenEye was another one that I watched, but I can't remember the order of when the movies came out. And then the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movies. Those are vivid ones I remember watching when I was a kid. And I'll never forget, you know, we always had to wait till the dollar theater because we were poor, if anyone has a dollar theater in your area. And with two other sisters, so there's three of us, and we're having to fight over what movie are we going to see at the dollar theater. And because again, this is something we don't get to do very often. So you had to make an important choice here. It's like picking out that movie at Blockbuster. What are you going to pick? You got to agree on something. And it took a lot of convincing for me. Like, come on. I cannot recall what else was at the theater at that time. So, I mean, you still got to find something kid-friendly that we can all watch and enjoy. And I just remember begging and pleading. Like, my mom knew I loved Power Rangers. Like, please, let's watch the Power Rangers movie. And then, yes, they all like accepted, like, all right, we'll go see it. What an experience being able to watch Power Rangers in the movie theater. And then being able to be blessed enough to, even though we grew up poor, my mom, I'll never forget the Christmases of where I don't think I got them new. She might have found them secondhand somewhere, but I remember opening a box that was in silverware of all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers figures where they actually flip their heads to transform, where it'd be the normal head and then the helmet they would be wearing. And it was just incredible. I could not believe it because we can't afford stuff like that. And I can't remember if they were in our wrappers, their packaging still, or if she just wrapped them up. I cannot remember. I just remember getting them. And then eventually I would get the Megazords. And then I'd eventually get all the weapons, especially the Green Ranger stuff, the White Tiger Zord stuff, and all his weapons. It was incredible because I just loved it that much. So, again, just finding out the news that JDF, someone I just really adored back in the day and still follow to this day, passing away. Yeah, it just hurts. It just stinks. So if it happened the way it did, again, anyone else feeling anything like that, just be sure to reach out to people. If you haven't experienced it in your family, I have, and it is something that is tough to deal with as the family members having to deal with it post. Very tough. So just anyone who's dealing with it, reach out to someone. And JDF, man, we loved you. You provided so much entertainment for us and happy moments. Just thank you so much for it. And yeah, I guess that's it. Love the Green Ranger, White Ranger. It's going to be missed. See you guys.